What if I were to suggest that you play a key role in the awakening world? And that you are watching this because you have heard the call. We can start right now by opening our hearts and minds. Welcome to the awakening world.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Awakening World. I'm Love Coach Scott Thomas. I am grateful to be your host, and we have a really special show tonight. One of our absolute favorite luminaries is with us, and she always has so much to share. And we are very, very blessed to have an evening that we're going to have a deep dive with Antoinette Roots-Data. And she's about to go on a world tour to I went through the tour guide, 4 continents: Australia, Europe, Asia, and of course, the United States. So we're going to learn all about what she and Pato have been doing, what they are going to be doing, all about the Ubuntu film, which is so powerful. So we're going to have a whole night with Antoinette. But to get things started, we always love to go to the Alpha and Omega man, our beloved Omar Shar, who is going to get us off to a rousing start with
a rousing start. Yeah, namaste and welcome, everybody. I'm so happy to be here. I'm really excited tonight. I love Antoinette so much, and Pato, of course. I'm just looking forward to this show because we're going to see some stuff tonight that nobody has ever seen before. I mean, obviously they will as time goes by. And so in celebration of that, I'm going to sing a song called Rainbow Nation, because why not? And we'll do this. Oh, I've lost everything. There it is.
showing our colors, Rainbow Nation, higher frequency, higher vibration, minds are open, love is flowing, lifting each other, yes we are growing, 'cause what we are is light in foam, and light in foam will lift us all, so don't give up on walking tall, the time is now, so heed the call, and wake up to the light of this new day, because we are the heart of our world, the light in our world. We are the joy in our world, the love in our world. La, 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 la. Hearts are open, hands together, loving each other, sisters and brothers. 'Cause what we are is light in form, and light in form will lift us all. So don't give up on walking tall. The time is now, so heed the call, and wake up to the light of this new day. We are the heart of our world, the light in our world. We are the joy in our world, the love in our world.
That's all Twinkle Beloved Omashar. Let's get
Beautiful
the
dancers, that was so fun. Piper, you rock. I could hear your drum.
It is so wonderful to see everybody moving and grooving, and just each and every one of you. What a beautiful, look at this beautiful family. I've got it on gallery view. Just look at this gorgeous, beautiful family that we all get to be a part of and to connect with. What a blessing. And one of the great, bright, shining lights is this extraordinary woman, Antoinette Rootstata, who, despite extraordinary healing challenges, is out there traveling the world, spreading her light and love, playing music, making videos, creating wellness, the Adentia Wellness Center. I mean, you have a lot to share with us, Antoinette. And I hope you saw in the chat box all the people sharing their love and appreciation for you. Yeah, take it away. What do you want to share with your tribe?
All right. Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much, Scott, and to the Global Peace Tribe Academy. I mean, without your love and support, I mean, through all this time, this whole entire journey, you've been there like from the beginning, every step of the way. You've seen the changes I've gone through. You've seen a lot of challenges that I was facing, and it's amazing, like where I am right now compared to where I was a few months ago, where I was last year, and I was the year before, and the time when I first got the diagnosis and I gave you the news. And when you had told me, you were like, go set up a GoFundMe. And we'd never even reached that goal, but it was amazing what has happened during that entire time. So for me to kind of explain this journey as far as like what's happening here now, I feel I need to bring on Kamara to co-host with me because he's been on this journey. It's this all kind of started basically when we ran into each other again, So I don't know how many of you guys know Kumara, but let me introduce you to him. He is basically, I met him when he was with Unify, and we were at the Parliament of World Religion back in 2018. And he was there with Adil, and he was the director of operations. And, that was the first time we had met. And we had kind of stayed in contact, for the past couple of years, but it was really like last year sometime. And I was telling Omashar, I was like, we're going to write this song, the universe is working for me, and all I got to do is believe and stuff like that. And at that time, when I was getting deep inside of my meditations and manifestations, watching everybody try, all the Joe Dispenza, the Abraham Hicks, the Bruce Liptons, the Greg Bradens, and then going to the Hollow Movement, because I was like, I need to meet these folks because they got to teach me and tell me, how am I going to heal? How are they doing it? How are people doing this? Because I knew that I could not go down that road of conventional treatment. We had discussed this so many times before, and I was like, I cannot go down this. So what do they know that I don't know? And I need to learn and find out really quick if I want to live, because that's all I kept talking about is like, how do I live? How do I live? How do I live? And what helped me live was going to Africa and shooting a documentary in 10 African countries, getting back to my roots. Here comes the roots daughter. It's like, really, I need to know more. So last year, I was on Facebook and I saw Kumar posting about tea. And the way he was talking about tea, about the leaves and all the things in there and the cups and the serum, I was like, all right, dude, you got my Asian invasion kind of like curious and stuff. And I'm all about the tea. So tell me about these teas and stuff. So we started talking, and he was explaining the things about teas. And then he was explaining some things about the work that he does with the heart imagery and other stuff like that. And I was just learning a little bit about that because I was watching this stuff on YouTube. And when I was at the Hollow Movement with everybody, it's like Jennifer and Charlotte and Maureen. It was just like everybody surrounding with me love and giving me healings, and I was sitting there like, these things are real. From the time we was in Sedona to by the time we got to LA, by the time we got onto the land, all these things are changing. But once he gave me a healing from all the way up in Canada, I was like, what the hell is going on? Because I was like, who's grabbing my feet? It's like, who's touching me? Why am I, it was just the weirdest thing. And I'm like the biggest skeptic when it comes to the unknown and supernatural and things that I don't understand, especially because I'm a debunker when it comes to this stuff. So that's how we started to get involved working with each other. He was basically helping me to save my life. I told you many people have been saving my life. There's a lot of people with a lot of different things, but each one of these things that I started to touch upon and I started to use and implement within my own life was working. So as he was going through all this stuff with the healing, it was also helping me on my mental and spiritual. Even though it's like we studied the Urantia book, I was like, there's some things about the supernatural that I was like trying to piece together between, the supernatural and then with the things that I know regarding the Urantia book and the unknown. So I was like, this is starting to make sense. And I told him, no matter what we do, we have to be in alignment, So he became like my friend, my mentor, and also my right-hand man. And I called him my shaman because he doesn't call himself a shaman. I was like, dude, just up level your shamanism because you really have the heart and what it takes to really and help and serve people. Because, if it hadn't been for him this whole last year, I don't know what would have gone on because there was just so much depression and uncertainty and unknowing and just trying to get by, and when you're trying to figure those things out, it's like, who do you turn to and how do you turn to, especially when you don't have all that money to pay all those people all this money for that kind of special healing. So that's how we met. So Kumar, please introduce yourself to everyone before we get into our show tonight.
Thank you very much for that, wow, illustrious introduction. It's been quite an honor to say the least, to be able to practice what I do for first myself, as well as the practice I've done for others, with using, I would say, a universal power of the circular economy, because the circular economy, it feeds back. It's like when we take something from nature and it's linear, it's taken. We need to give back. But what we're doing now, it feels like we're going through a human defrag process. So we're defragmentalizing. So as we do that, it gets easier and easier the more people actually synchronize. It's like when I started to say, Antoinette, let's keep it simple. Synchronize a meditation, pick a frequency that you like. I will listen to it and I'll feed it back into the ether. And then that's how she's able to, because she opened that doorway to receiving, I was able to send. And it goes both ways because she gave me that feedback of, dude, that actually worked. Like, what the heck did you do? I said, it's because we synchronized. So I just like to keep things really simple. And then we had a good talk earlier today too. And I said, she goes, hey, what do I do with this challenge or that challenge? I said, just keep it simple. Go back to the breath. Go back to self-care. Care for yourself. Because when you do care for yourself, it becomes automatic to care for others. And that seems to be like a universal knowledge that is very ancient. It ties in with Ubuntu, well, which we'll get into, because I've studied it for quite a number of years, and not just study, but put it into practice. And that's the most important thing, is just practice. And when we practice it together with others, and don't fall into fear, because when we fall into fear, that's the opposite of love. So when we go into unconditional love, there is no feel of failure. There is no feel of there's no fear of hitting a dead end. There is no death really in the whole entire cosmos and the gamut of things. Through even Antoinette and Pato's teachings through the Urantia book. It's like, wow, that actually makes sense. I've been living it, but I don't know how to actually to explain it. If I try to explain it to someone who doesn't get it, therein lies dissonance. So why would I do that? So when she stepped up and opened that doorway to, I would say, a shared model of existence, I walked through it, and it just kept going and going and going. It's kind of like table tennis, and you have this spiritual ball that goes back and forth, and it grows each time. And it seems to attract others who are actually resonant, because we all have the same DNA. We all have the same inner workings. We have the same human blueprint. So it's actually, we're unlearning what we've learned that doesn't really work into the cosmic realm. So she talked about supernatural abilities, and really it starts with subtle natural existence. So when we go into the subtle realms, it allows for our cells, our bodies, our muscles, all our tissues to have no more issues. I call it tissues and the issues with the tissues. Well, we just have to relax, breathe. Because when we relax, our DNA, it's like crumpled. It actually loosens up. And when it's loosened up, all the systems in the body starts to communicate with itself. And we're already made in the image of the creator, which is like, to me, that's perfection. Like, that's the greatest design. So anyways, without going any more, I just thought I'd share that thread, because it was coming. Like, it's not from me, it's coming from all of us. It's from source, right? So
Absolutely.
yeah.
And one of the things too that I really appreciate is because last year when we did go back to Africa, we went back to Burundi to open up the hospital. In Burundi, after we had shot the documentary, and that's the next part. It was like so much has happened since we shot the documentary, and there was so much, like, we have to do a whole nother one on the after effects that had happened. While we were there in Burundi, everybody was sick, and it was crazy because our director had just come from the Congo. And then our percussion player, he said, yo, they're like taking people out in stretchers and IVs. And I'm like, what's going on here? And I was like coughing. I'm like, I'm not feeling so hot. And then I was like, Coco, run some scans. So she's running scans from all the way in California. This is what I love about like when they talk about new medicine and biohacking and technology and things like that. She ran these scans all the way from California, and these scans were showing like every parasite you could think of, like the name of it, where it comes from, what kind of animal, and this and that. And I'm like, seriously, dude? And I was like, all right, what do I do? What do I do? And I was like, all right, think. Patch. So I was like, first I go online and I was like, I was on the Lifeway patches. I said, yo, people are coughing and whatever else. What do you guys do? They're like, oh, we just slapped all the patches up on our chest and then all the coughing went away and they didn't, and all this other stuff. I'm like, didn't matter if they had COVID, didn't matter if they had this or whatever issues they were having. They said pneumonia or whatever. I said, all right, I'm going to try it. I patched up the whole band. I patched up my chest. And then I called up, I saw Kumar was doing some heart thing online. I'm like, well, this is interesting because we don't normally have internet when we're in Africa. And for some strange reason, at that some strange time, the Wi-Fi was working the entire time. The entire
Yeah.
time. So I joined his class, joined his heart imagery that he was doing up in the tea shop and stuff. And I was just laying there. I was like, all right, visualize myself and doing whatever. And it was so weird, but I felt so good. And it came all the way across the waves with other people all online on Zoom. I'm like, okay, frequency can actually travel across the airwaves on Zoom. Frequencies can travel across the airwaves on pictures, and frequency can travel that you can sit there and see the insides of people or other things. I'm like, this is freaking bizarre, but it worked because it's other than that, it's like meditating, and then it's like, wait a minute, I need dawa tea. Ginger lemon is the number one thing that gets rid of parasites, and they all know that. That's why they're always on it. Ivermectin, they were doing that too. I was like, wait a minute, this is a hospital. I should be able to get some stuff over here. And I was like, what are they drinking? They're drinking the dawa tea. I was like, where y'all got the tea at? And they're like, oh yeah, we have it inside. The village people always drink it. I'm like, get me some. Get me a big, big, big pot, you know? And I was like, I'm just gonna drink this stuff. And then I just needed steam. Where's the hot spring? They said everybody's going to the hot springs. They travel for miles and hours and days to the natural hot springs. That's how they heal. It was so freaking hot, but I'm like, I'm gonna do what I gotta do. And they're like, okay, you're feeling really great. You've got all this energy. I'm like, yeah, because I figured out what to do. I asked the questions. I went inside. I asked the other people who knew, and then they helped me, and that saved me, and it saved the rest of the guys, and I was able to continue the rest of the month, without any of those issues, except for the physical, thing of the arm injury. But we'll get into that. Anyway, so that helped me and saved me a lot. And then after we went through the year, let me see, we went to did the parliament, ended up in Hidalgo with Chief Phil Lane in a teepee, with all these indigenous people for 5 hours. That was amazing. Another whole healing thing that was going on in there. It's like, if you've never done that, you got to try that. And then we were getting ready to launch everything for Ubuntu this year. As you guys can see, we're about to hit 4 continents. But in order for us to start this documentary, we needed to go back to Africa, because I was like, if we're going to show this to the world, I believe Africa should see the documentary before the rest of the world sees it. It's only right. It's only fair. I was like, there's no other way. They've got to have the first dibs, first priority before anybody else sees it. So we went to South Africa, where they put on an Ubuntu festival, and there was 4 days. I mean, it was so amazing. It was like the speakers, the presenters. We went to the Desmond Tutu house. We went to the Mandela Foundation was presenting. All these like luminaries and leaders and young people and activists. And I was like, this is incredible. We need to do Ubuntu festivals around the world, because when people start to learn about the spirit of Ubuntu and what it can do for everybody and each other, it would change the world for good. It would change the world for a number of significant reasons that we can't even imagine. But what I did not realize, that while we were there in South Africa, in Cape Town, that place was such a spiritual and healing place on the planet. They're all talking about these vortexes and these vortex sites, but you guys have no idea about the vortex, the crystals. When we were in Sedona, I thought Sedona was amazing because of the crystal and the energy and the healing and everything. But just imagine Sedona times 1,000. That's what Mpumalanga is like. That is what Cape Town is like. That big Cape Mountain is
Table
a
Mountain.
giant Table Mountain. What is that? It's a giant quartz.
It's rose quartz. The entire
Rose
thing.
quartz.
Yes. It's 3 kilometers up. It takes about 2.5 hours to walk the entire flat top. And it is, 3 kilometers up from the surface of the ocean where that base is at.
Right. And when this woman, when she was doing the thing, she another woman about the divine feminine, I was like, I am totally at the right spot space, for the divine feminine, the mother spirit, and all the energies and everything, because she started talking about that table, the mountain was the shape of the woman, it was the mother, and it was the woman's body. It was like, this is a cradle of civilization, this was everything. And I was like, wow, all right, how deep are we gonna go with this? So while we're standing up there on a tabletop mountain, like in the gorgeous views and feeling the energies and everything else like that, I see on Facebook again, it's like, follow the mother spirit, follow the leadings wherever she's taking you. Guess who's in Cape Town at the same time I'm there? Mindahi Batista. I don't, if you guys don't know who Mindahi Batista is, Mindahi is one of our brethren from Unity Earth. I met him years ago from the Amazon. He's a water protector. He's a Amazon protector. His Earth Council, all the work that they're doing is just really amazing. And I was like, wow, you're here at the same time. I said, do you guys know that Chief Phil Lane and Eshna and Joan are all in Palenque right now, continuing with the eighth fire and continuing with the prophecy of the eagle, the condor, the hummingbird, and the quetzalcoatl, right?
Quetzalcoatl is the hummingbird. Yeah.
Right, Quetzalcoatl, yes. And he goes, yes, and we're here to continue this prophecy. I was like, whoa, this is weird that is happening at the same time, and we just happen to be at the same place at the same time. So let me find this thing. So we go and visit him at another place that we're visiting in South Africa. And where was this? It was, this woman had an eco village. She had a small place, right? So this is Kwekwe. All right, yeah, let me go ahead
And there was a what's that pathway thing again?
a labyrinth.
Labyrinth made of rose quartz.
Rose quartz. The
It was
entire-
massive.
All right, where is it?
Yes, it was probably about 150 feet in diameter.
All right. Let me see, is that it? Oh, there he is. Okay, let me just flip the screen. Let's see, share screen. Okay. This is a bushman. His name is Kwekwe. And we were speaking when we just walked in, and we started talking about Ubuntu, and they're doing an interview. So there's going to be a documentary on this gentleman, and he was speaking to us about Ubuntu. But when he heard me speak, it was the weirdest thing. I was like, where is that? Laying on the drone, clip walk. All right. Entering third circle, Soweto, freedom. All right. Oh, there it is. Yeah, here we go. Yeah. I brought him. Guys, it's like, this was all divine. I told you.
It stopped.
Pray harder.
We had the
meditate
first 5
more,
seconds of
we
it, and then it
manifest
stopped.
Better, and we're stronger
I
together.
can see it.
I just go where the mother spirit is telling me to go. She says, do this, do that. Don't do this, don't do that. Hang out with these people, all the people who are in alignment. And
I'm
it's
seeing
not-
Antoinette and
it's not
Kamara.
fight.
I'm not seeing
We're
the
in it
video.
together.
Oh,
It's not.
did you hear that, Antoinette?
No, I can see it. It's working.
Quickly and just get with people who are in alignment. Oh, you guys didn't see it? You
So
guys
that
didn't
was
see the video.
Huh?
that was an earthship actually on that property.
Oh, okay. Let me see. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that?
15th of May.
Okay.
One day. Yeah, right over in the Mandela Road. You can't see that? Because I wanted to get as much. Stuff
I can
on
see
the-
it.
Yes.
I can see it now.
Stuff with yeah.
Awesome.
And it's
Still
yeah.
connects in Pumalanga then.
Well, he's with me.
So are you going to be in Pumalanga?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I brought these
go
guys.
ahead.
Yeah. I brought him. I brought these guys. It's like, this was all divine. I told you. We pray harder. We meditate more. We manifest better. And we're stronger together. I just go where the mother spirit is telling me to go. She says, do this, do that. Don't do this, don't do that. Hang out with these people, all the people who are in alignment, and don't be, it's not a fight. We're in it together.
It's not a fight.
It's not. But if people are fighting you, move quickly and just get with people who are in alignment, because we ain't got time to waste.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That's a predicament in action.
Because we wasted a lot of time, with a lot of just trying to convince people of things, and I don't have time to try to convince people anymore.
No.
So it's like, you're either in what we're doing or you're not. And if you're in it, let's do it. Let's do it together.
Yes.
Amazing.
There he is.
Out, I'm feeling healing because I thought, yeah, I don't hear, no one wants to speak it for themselves. And it helped me, it makes the lighting bigger, much more bigger. Because when one get killed from behind and the voice comes out, at least we know it's about these things are not the crown. We is our king, our prince. He is now.
Kamara, if you don't mind, I'll go ahead and because we were translating it before. If you don't mind explaining basically what he was
Basic,
telling us.
basically, he actually showed up there because there was a scheduled interview for him. But he was drawn in himself and his friend to go inside here. He must have felt the energy or something because as soon as he sat down, I was already watching while I was taking the footage earlier that you saw. And then that's when he started to speak and he said, "You know what? I am from the which tribe again? Do you remember?"
It was I don't remember. It was someplace from up north. But he was sitting there saying he said whatever I was saying was making his words like he had to
Yes, he
get
started
these
calling you
words
mama
out.
or mother, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
he totally resonated and he actually opened up because of what you were speaking of. It was a vibration not only in your voice but the message. And he is of the royal descent, the ancient royal descent. And he was apparently it was his father who was
Mm-hmm.
stabbed in the back by a colonial.
Yeah, we found out that it was legal to hunt bushmen. You
Yes.
know,
Hmm.
that's what it was legal to hunt bushmen and
Hmm.
stuff. So they're like an endangered species,
Yeah.
as people, so that was
He went on a long thread,
hmm
because of what he listened to just briefly, and that's when he really opened up. And we have that long footage. It has to be optimized, but
yeah.
yeah, it'll eventually get shared.
Right. But basically, I was like, okay. I was like, whatever's happening here, we're just going to go with the flow. So they said they were going to Mpumalanga. And I was like, wait, what? I said, Kamara knows somebody in Mpumalanga and has invited us to go. And I was like, well, I don't know if I want to go and do
It's a long
whatever.
journey.
It's a journey. It's going to be flights. It's going to be money. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. I'm on a mission, and I don't know if that's part of my mission or whatever else and stuff. But once they said they were going to Mpumalanga, I was like, I don't know how many times you need the universe to tell you something again. You know, to just go. It's like you've got another opportunity. Mendahi's going out there. They're going out there for a reason. So I said, we better make this happen. So we fly to Mpumalanga,
No, we
at,
flew to Joburg, to
go
Johannesburg.
to
Then we
Johannesburg.
took a 2.5 hour bus ride.
Yes, and the whole
Then we got picked
time,
up.
everybody's just talking about the danger, the danger, the danger, the danger. It can get rough. It's South Africa. There's a lot of issues. There's a lot of problems and stuff. But I was like, I think it's going to be worth it. I've got two guys with me. You know, Dave was also there, and they also know this woman we were going to go and see. Her name was Louise Clark, and that's how you go ahead. Tell them about Louise and why we're going.
Louise, first time I met her was in 2015. She was on a coast to coast tour from the East Coast to the West Coast with a bunch of truth seekers, esoteric researchers. She's the ex of Michael Tellinger, and that's how I got to know her. As I got his book a long time ago when I caught wind when they were coming to Canada. I thought I need to meet these people. When we first met, just the first glance in each other's eyes, I knew she was my sister, and we were like tight, like right away. She had studied with, you might want to mention this,
Credo
Credo,
Mutwa.
Credo Mutwa.
Right.
Before I say any more, but that's that connection. It's such a profound connection to be connected with a close friend who happened to, I found out when we were there in March, how close she was to the teachings of Credo. Anyways, Antoinette, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was like, all right, Credo Mutwa. I started doing some Googling and other stuff about this man, and he was a shaman. He only just died a few years ago. But what she told me was that he had healed her. You know, I mean, whatever, all the medical issues that she was talking about, like everything from like serious, when I'm talking about when women were going through health issues, when they go through health issues, we're talking about they're nearly dying. Like organs are failing, hair's falling out, all sorts of stuff. And it's like, and it's a lot of trauma based, anxiety, uh, drama, all sorts of different things. And she said this shaman had healed her. And I was like, wow. So when she was explaining this stuff to me, I did some research on him after I left and everything, and he was sitting there telling me about how the woman, the Zulu woman and the African woman was the most respected, you know, moral standard bearer. She was a spiritual leader. They could not go to war without the men asking the women's permission, you know, and they were the greatest military strategists. He also said that when it came to the crystals, that only women were allowed to mine the crystals because the guys had no respect for the planet and they had no respect for Mother Earth, you know. So that's why they were not in charge of doing the mining. The women were in charge of the mining and stuff. And I was like, how do we lose all this stuff, you know, during colonization and other things? But something that Louise told me, she said that when we were out there on the land, and I swear to God, I was like, this is Edentia. I keep talking about Edentia, but I saw Edentia in South Africa. So let me pull up. Yeah, this is just the laying on the rocks thing. Oh yeah, the healing. She says how she's able to heal, you know, it's just grounding, getting back into nature, you know, being alone. She's like she could be out there in the wilder, what we're about to show you, for a
For
week by
weeks.
herself,
Hmm.
by herself, and she could feel totally safe, totally calm without the animals bugging her. There's like no mosquitoes. I was like, this place was so special and so spiritual. It's like no mosquitoes, and mosquitoes are everywhere, and they love me. You know, it's like I always get attacked like crazy, but that was amazing. So let me
We
show
did
you
not
this.
see one.
Not one. All right. So this, I'm laying on the rocks, and again, it's all the crystals or the energy. It's happening over there, and I'm
This
just.
place is
This is
Sedona times 1,000.
down 1,000. So I'm just. This was my healing, you know, because I really just need to just like get with myself, lay down on a rock. You know, you could feel it. And I told him, I said, go up to where we're going to, where we end up hiking, because that day, she took us hiking how we can just connect ourselves with nature. You know, she's got thousand, how many hectares, Kamara?
2,700 hectares.
2,700 hectares.
Hmm. And
Yes.
where this is going to be like the African Adentia.
Oh, yes. Uh-huh. That's where we hike. So
Yeah.
you can see that little orb flying around too. You know, so where I'm pointing and where that drone went is actually where we end up hiking that she took us to, you know. And then that was the, all right, river, skipping rock, cliff walk. All right. So where we end up hiking to that day was the first circle. So I don't know if you guys have heard about the stone circles. This is the footage that I was telling Scott that nobody has seen before. If you look up anything on YouTube about stone circles and Michael Tellinger and other things like that, you'll hear that they talk about the frequencies. They talk about a lot of people come from all over the world to come to Mpumalanga because of the healing that you can get from there. They also say that there's millions of these stone circles, and then they say that these stone circles are older than Stonehenge. Adam's calendar is older than Stonehenge, and it's older than the pyramids.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, why aren't they talking more about this? They're only just kind of discovering this now.
And
So
it's
let me,
accurately due south from the pyramids on the north end to the south end to this spot. Yeah.
okay. So, all right, this is the weird thing. So when I'm trying to fly the drone, it's the energy or the frequencies, not all electronics, because I almost lost the drone so many times. Really, literally, because it's like come back, it's like it's lost
You get
reception.
too
I'm like,
close to those things,
if you
yeah.
get too close, it starts to bug out or it starts to weird out. So I was kept trying to get close to here. This was the first one we actually hiked up to. And I'm trying to, you can kind of see it just a little bit.
That would be like less than a
Yeah.
quarter of a section of the entire circle.
All right, let me stop
And
that
these
one.
these circles are composed of really big rocks. Like maybe this one, that would be the smallest.
Okay,
Some of
here.
them are boulders and they're piled up. They're piled up 10, average 10 feet high You have to climb over them. So it's really difficult to see the scale of it just by the drone alone. So
There you
here,
go.
yeah,
There's the, all right, there we go.
there you go.
Yeah, this thing is freaking huge, and the walls are freaking huge. It's like, wait, what? It's like the bush is overgrown, and we're trying to hike over this. It's like, that's why the drone is like going back, because every time I
That's
try
the
to get
lodge down
over
there.
it,
Yeah.
yeah, it starts freaking out. Now, where's this
I've,
other
I've
one?
I've got a couple questions, if I
Sure.
may.
Yes.
So I heard you say there are millions of circles. Now, is that an exaggeration or
No.
is
They had done a Google Earth survey before. There's about 10 million.
10 million circles?
Yeah,
So
from
what we
in the
saw,
East Coast as well. It wraps around. They probably, of course, they probably took it all out in South Africa. But when you go up to the West Coast, it's all over there too.
wow. And do
Yeah,
we know who built these? What the kind of spiritual, historical,
they are portals because there's a lot of electronics don't work inside them.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll show you some more footage. It's pretty wild. Like the footage that we have, we're excited because all of you, outside of all of us here now,
Nobody has
no
seen
one
it.
has seen them
Because
except
that's on private
us two.
property. You know,
Yeah.
that's on private property unless they got those drones, unless you're going down over there. But it's like, wow, you know. So once we start to put this together, you know, it's really going to be amazing, especially with the frequencies that we're learning about and everything else. All right,
The water tastes amazing.
amazing.
They don't
It's so
filter it. It's filtered by the earth.
it tastes like Voss water. You know, like when you're gonna buy that bougie, expensive Voss water, and it's like, oh, that's the best tasting water. I'm like, this stuff coming from the top was like Voss water. You know, I I love that stuff. But anyway, there is this. Is this the? Okay, let me go back to this one. Oh yeah, that's the same. Oh, where is it?
while you're pulling that up, I'm going to bring Piper on for a second because
Please.
Piper had mentioned that she also spent a few years in South Africa. So, most of us don't associate Johannesburg in South Africa as a spiritual place. Most of us, I think, grew up with the awareness of all the racism and the wars. So
Mhm.
I just would love to hear a little bit. First of all, we love hearing from Piper and seeing her. And I'd love to hear your experience there, Piper.
Well, first of all, just seeing Antoinette's face makes me happy. You look beautiful and
So do
radiant, and to
you.
hear
I'm
about your
glad to
healing.
see you.
I am walking through my own healing process. So hearing from you and Kumar right now, it's giving me life. I am so excited to hear all of this. I lived in Johannesburg for 3.5 years at a very different time, but I also lived and worked in Congo and in Kenya. So Congo was probably my first extraordinary healing, where the portals were less of an energetic frequency portal, but I went through portals of generational and ancestral voices that I didn't even know existed. So we had made our way up into the Kimbangwis nation in Kamba. And I had just finished covering the bombing of the Kenyan embassy. So I had just interviewed the 5,000 Kenyans that were maimed and wounded to do a lawsuit and medicinal for the people and bring a lawsuit against the United States, and made my way there to Congo. And so before I ended up moving to South Africa, we were, of course, when you get through the Kimbangwis nation, the women pour down, and it's almost as if the divine feminine, the ancient mothers, come down from the mountains. And we had our clothes and our bags, and we had been flooded in the big red clay through the water. So our car had already sunk into the mud, and it's raining and storming, but it felt as if God was speaking through the rain. It was so abundant, and the earth was so red that I felt this sacred connection to life itself. The women came down and they said in French, of course, do you not know that you are now at the corner of Eden? This is actually a part of the Garden of Eden. And they stripped us naked, unbeknownst to us. And the women rubbed herbs and oils all over our body and said, take off your shoes. Basically, this is holy ground. They wrapped us in clothing, covered our hair, and then brought us into that huge body of water that they said was the original pool of Shalom. And they before they would even allow us to walk on the sacred land on the other side. And they baptized us in the water 7 times. And then we had to walk through, and gentlemen just took our luggage and bags, and we had no idea who they were, but I've never felt so safe. Every soul, every root of my being finally had an exhalation of home. It was the breath of home. But I also felt an incredible pain, and I didn't know what that pain was, but because it was so extreme. And they walked us through, and we got to this giant cave that we had to walk through a tunnel to the other end. And it was where King Leopold of Belgium had mutilated the arms and hands and murdered over 10 million African children and women. Because the greatest Holocaust that's really ever happened to a people happened in Congo, but you don't hear about it. So Leopold went there and lied and said that he was doing all of this extraordinary work, but he actually wanted to take control of the rubber trees. So he took a million acres of property and enslaved everyone on them, and chopped off the hands of all of the children and the wives to keep the men working around the clock. And they walked us through, and they said this is not only where the bodies and the bones are buried, but also where the slaves were sent out. And they were saying it in the language I didn't understand, but as soon as I entered, I felt my body shaking, and then I started sweating profusely, and I got sick to my stomach, and I heard screams that were so loud, it was deafening, shook me to the bone, and I fell to the ground. I was crawling through the cave, and I was trying to express to them, I don't understand what you're saying. I thought there was a slaughter going on outside of the cave. But the shaman that was guiding us said he understood, and he said, she sees. They had to almost carry me out of the cave, and I was terrified, and they said, you heard the screams of 10 million ancestors, of your ancestors, dying and screaming for freedom and being mutilated. And then on the other end, it felt as if I had recognized or stepped into a global high dimensional bliss that was beyond my comprehension. And you're right, you could drink from the river rock. It was unbelievable. And then I made my way to South Africa after staying there for months to build AIDS hospitals. And in South Africa is where I learned the spirit of Ubuntu, because I took my personal money and built the first 50,000 free houses for the Zulu, Xhosa, Sotho, Northern Sotho people. And we named it Amandla Homes. And I did not know when we moved into the property that it came with a family, really a family of servants. And these were all mothers whose children had been taken from them so they could be strapped with dynamite to go through the diamond mines, because they blow up the children to get to the diamonds, which is why they're called blood diamonds. And so we rescued their children, their families, everyone. We brought them in, taught them to read, write, and ended up leaving them the entire 50,000 home company. So we stayed for years to teach them how to do it. But I was in this horrible outrage for because of the racism. And because my children looked Caucasian, I could put them into preschool and kindergarten, but I wasn't allowed to pick them up. And I told them, you have to call me the au pair, or you will not be able to go to school. And one day, accidentally, they screamed, mommy, mommy, and they were kicked out of school, and that happened 3 times. So I went into this rage, and it was the maid that had no shoes, no water, had been raped at least 1,000 times before she was 17, legally, as you know, because blacks were not allowed to have running water, food. I mean, the running water, hospitals, electricity, and they were still going hunting when I lived there. So that meant as soon as the sun went down, they would open fire on the townships to see how many black people they could kill. And that was being done almost every night for sport. So I was there at a very different time, but the spirit of Ubuntu came through my outrage and my tears. And I was like, we have to do more. We have to do more. And my father had just authored the Comprehensive Sanctions Act and freed Mandela, and apartheid was falling, but there was no distribution of wealth. So people were still really dying of poverty. So the crime rate was rising. And I was yelling and screaming, and she grabbed my hand and she said, sister, you have the heart of the slave owner. And I didn't know what that meant. And she said, we are the people of Ubuntu. And she had nothing and I had everything. And she said, until you learn a heart of love and forgiveness, you will never become a sister of Africa. And I was 31 years old at the time, and it changed my very life. So my transformation there and those portals were pouring into the hearts and soul of the people, which is why Mandela freed himself with that level of compassion. So what you're experiencing are the portals that were pouring out without having to be there onto the people for their survival through that whole process of apartheid.
Wow, thanks for that.
Mm-hmm.
What an
That is
It, it
100% truth.
it's deep. It's
Truth.
so deep, and that's why there's a lot of things that, when there's a story that comes out, like how far down the root does that come from? Because if it's near the surface, there's always some other spin that gets put on it. It gets labeled, gets marketed, and that's the thing that I I was very cognizant and very careful about. I did become involved in the Ubuntu contributionism. I just have to like clarify this. I do love everybody, but when there's something that doesn't feel right, I take a step back.
Mm,
They wanted me to become like the leader for this Ubuntu party leader of Canada, and I said I won't do that. That
right.
it doesn't feel right.
Well, the
So
thing that was so powerful about it, the 25 million Africans that, were freed, supposedly when apartheid ended, it was illegal for them to participate, to go to any of they couldn't go into the stores, the markets, they couldn't see the big five, they couldn't go to the beaches, they knew nothing about their land. I took the women that were in my home for the first time to the oceans, and they were terrified. They had never seen this body of water, but they did know that there was healing, but it was illegal for them to physically be a part of even embracing their own cultural land. But they knew, and they were able to call those forces. And just to sum it up, I think this is what we understood from Mandela when he was freed, because they thought that when he entered Chushunguve in Pretoria, which was like the White House, they thought that he was going to kill or do something in prison, those that had imprisoned and tortured and beaten him and his family and tired the children and all of the other atrocities that occurred. And yet, and still, he threw a big giant banquet. And one person, they said, had a heart attack, so terrified to go before him because of knowing the atrocities he had committed against our people. And yet Mandela kissed each and every one of them. That's the spirit of Ubuntu, fed them a 4-course meal and said, I forgive you. And this is after being imprisoned. And I gave the keynote at his 95th birthday celebration and at his vigil. And the last moment that we were with him, his grandson, he was in the office and he had just come out of the hospital, and he was watching the rain from outside pouring down, and he was saying nothing, which is the rarity of Madiba. He always speaks. He plants seeds of wisdom at all times, like a great oak grandfather, an ancestral Unkamaki tree. And his grandson said, is everything okay? And he spun around and he was sobbing. And he said, when I was a little boy, I used to love to run naked in the rain. I think you should do that. And what that told me about that special place was that he could go back to a place of innocence amidst all that he had seen and gone through. To go back to the place of freedom as a child running naked is a real testimony to the people and the land of South Africa.
wow. Piper, thank you so much for sharing all of that. And I think, we've just taken it's like we've shifted gears into an even deeper level of understanding the history, and so much of what you and Antoinette have shared tonight. I did not know. I did not know that level of lack of humanity. So anyway, thank you both, and thank you, Kamara, for being with us and educating us. And please, Antoinette, turning it back over to you to
All right.
continue.
Thank you. And thank you, Piper, because you're you're leading me into the next segment of what I want to talk about, actually. So I did want to show real quickly, before I get into what Piper is talking about, because we do want to get into that. I'm just going to quickly show you Let me see. Share screen. All right. This right here. Can you guys see that?
Yes, we can.
Is this one the circles or the school?
That's the
This-
circles. That's a
Okay.
beautiful one that's overgrown by trees and
Okay.
shrubbery. Yeah,
All right. Yeah. So that's how it looks from there. All right. Let me share this one. This. All right. Here we go. Oh, there we go.
that's
This is what it looks
inside.
like inside. Yeah. So when we started the hike, this one, there's 4 of them. We went to like 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah.
And this
This
was,
one, this one is
ain't none of
has
this
three
creeping none of y'all out.
this has 3 concentric
What is
circles.
all this stuff? Oh, berries. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. There's a circle within a circle.
Wow.
Then the one I'm actually going to show you. It is so
It's a circle within a circle.
It's so
Wow.
you can literally stand there.
Well, that's basically, let me go ahead and stop that. That's basically what that looks like. But so when we were down there, this is what's so crazy about everything. After going there, I was going back into Soweto because into Joburg because that's where I wanted to go and interview some of the organizations with Ubuntu. And when I did that, that really, what you're talking about, Piper, about the truth and reconciliation and things like that. This is what people are not talking about. Is that they've forgiven, but they didn't get a chance to right the wrongs, you know? And I, all right, there's somebody, I need to mute somebody. Okay. Can we mute Lavina?
Yeah, I'm trying to find who the
It's Lavina. Okay, there we go. All right. So basically, all right, let me go ahead and show you guys this. This is the Freedom School, right?
And this goes into the empowerment programs.
Yes. All right. Can you see that one?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
All right. I gotta move this one. So let me back up a bit here. I was going in to talk to, this is the first freedom school that Mandela had set up. And after I had interviewed the gentleman who was doing this program, it's called Loving Classroom, and explaining to me what was happening in the townships, in the schools. I never cried during interview before. Even during the whole documentary, it's like nothing had hit me so emotionally like what he was explaining to me and what was happening with these children. So because they didn't right the wrongs and because of the poverty situation that's still in South Africa and with the school, I was like, what's happening with these schools? He was explaining that the dropout rates, were so high. He was explaining to me that the bullying and the lack of confidence, the children, the murders, it's like children were actually killing their parents. Children were actually killing the teachers. Children were actually killing their brothers and sisters. Yes, children, and then I was like, all right, I need to come and do something over at the school. I was like, it wasn't just about the interview anymore. I was like, I need to get back into the township, and find out what's really going on. So, this was just a made up thing. I was like, all right, let me just go and show them the spirit of Ubuntu, the baobab tree story. And then we're going to go into a meditation and manifestation. So as you can see, I'm so excited. I'm excited. It's like, here are these kids, they're coming in, but look how the light, I've got it up on the screen and then the light, the power is on. But what people don't understand as they're all coming in, and I'm fast forwarding it a little bit, all of a sudden the power's out. Because he tells me we won't be able to do anything. I was like, no, it's all good. We will still be able to do something even with the powers that's out, because we can watch the thing on the screen, and I still wanted to try to explain to them about meditating and manifesting or whatever,
Just load shedding. That's correct, Charlotte.
Load shedding. And so what people don't understand when I'm talking about they haven't righted the wrongs is that South Africa sells their electricity to the neighboring country of Botswana and other countries. Botswana has electricity 24 hours a day. But in South Africa, all the neighborhoods go through a thing of where they lose like 4 hours of electricity per day. But this school actually was not supposed to have, this school was actually not supposed to lose any electricity because they were on a generator or they had electricity, but because it was raining. And when that happens, it drains all the power. But anybody who's living in Soweto, they always suffer first. They're always the first ones to suffer. And there's millions of people who's living in this township. So without them having any power, I was like, we're still going to do our stuff. So I'm doing my meditation. So far, as you can see, you know, I showed them I was able to play the music and able to let them like meditate. This was the quietest the kids had ever been, like when I seen them the whole day. But that 5 minutes of meditating was so powerful in what these kids were going into. After that, that was crazy. It was like at the end when I was like, what did you guys get out of your meditation? Because I tried this experiment at the Parliament of World's Religion. I was like, what did you see? What did you feel? And what had came out? So each one of the kids, they started talking about like, you know, how they wanted to buy their mother a home. They wanted to get themselves out of poverty. They wanted, you know, all these dreams and aspirations. None of them had mentioned anything about the fathers and stuff. And it was like, this is why we have to go into like finding out what's the reasoning going on with these kids, what's actually happening with them. So by the time, after all these kids, I'm gonna show this screen now. I get over to the second one. Can you guys see this screen now? This is a different
Yes.
school. Now at this school, what's crazy about this one is that when I pulled into the driveway of this school, he told me, they said even inside the school, people's cars were hijacked within the school. You know, I'm like, how did they get into the gate? And they used the violence and everything. I said, this is really crazy. So with this school, I'm just excited because after the kids were willing to share all about the meditations, we did the meditation. You know, I showed them the baobab tree story, which was only 4 minutes. And then we went into the meditation. Once we went into the meditation, I opened my eyes. And when I opened my eyes, half of the kids were crying. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell just happened? You know, I was like, it was a different instance with these kids versus the other kids, but they're still going through a lot of issues. Maybe they're older. So when they started to share, some of the kids were sitting there saying, he said it was just too difficult. It was too difficult. It was too difficult to share. He couldn't even speak it. He goes, I can't even say what it is that I want to say. And then the other kid, you know, halfway in there, the other girl, she came up and she started to share, and she said about how she tried to take her life the day before. And then she said, it wasn't the first time. And I'm like, why are these kids? I was like, you're too young to actually have tried to take your own life. She explained how she did it, when she tried, and a couple times I was like, what's going on? The other kids couldn't even, and they were all like, they could all relate. They all knew there was, you know, the things that is being done in these communities and other stuff like that is just so unspeakable. And it's so unspeakable because these kids, you know, and that's why I had to go back to Mpumalanga again, because I was like, yo, we got to get these kids out of here and out back out into the land where they come from, to run in the river, you know, to lay on the rocks, to spray in the grass. I took one of the educators who's from the township out there, and it was like the look on her face was priceless. You know, it's like they had never seen anything like that before. You know, the grass and the water and clean water. They don't have clean water. So after going to that second school and hearing these kids, and they're like, all right, we got to go back in there. But the good news, you know, after all that, because I was like, the work that these folks is doing is so amazing. Here is Ntoko. All right, let me share my screen again. Zoom. This girl, I'm like, this is why I love the work that people, you know, that are doing. So, can you see her? This is Ntoko.
Yes.
Everyone, and you know,
And most importantly, I care for money.
Okay, let me find out. She was talking about, this is the one in Toko. Yes. Let's see, there we go. I really love this girl. I love all these kids. It's like, you know, when you meet these people and you meet these kids, it's like once you've seen, you can't unsee anymore. You know, this is in Toko. She's in the same classroom. And it's like there's 1.5 million kids out there that these folks are trying to reach. It's only like a handful of them. One vehicle and like 17 volunteers.
Greetings everyone, my name is Ntogozomeni and I'm a grade 10 learner studying at Dr. B.W. Vilagazi Secondary School. So today I'm going to tell you about this wonderful program called the Loving Classroom program. So there's so many lovely things I can tell you about this program. If I was to start, I would never finish. I love this program because it has boosted my confidence. It boosted even my classmates' confidence. I noticed that ever since they graced us, we now changed our perspectives on many things, and that's a very good thing, you know. So we had, you know, some lessons whereby we talk about the social issues. So I think it's a very good thing that we get to unite as people, and then we show our humanity. It's a very good thing, and I love that about Loving Classroom because it really, you know, takes that thing that's inside us, and you know, I was able to express myself. You know, we all have the freedom of speech, you know, freedom of expression, and we're able to express ourselves, and it's very important for teenagers to express themselves. So the Loving Classroom program really boosted us. I love that about the Loving Classroom program. So when they came, we had a few debates regarding the social issues. So you know, if I was to tell everybody about the Loving Classroom program, I would tell you that I would actually recommend it, not only in schools for maybe in South Africa, but in the whole of Africa, or maybe in the rest of the world. You know, it's a very good program, and I really love it. So ever since they came, I've noticed that me and my classmates, we got time to, you know, unite, you know, share our views and opinions based on several things, and that's a very good thing because now we are able to share our perspective. I learned a lot from my classmates. I learned something that I did not even think I'd learn from my classmates, you know. So they really boosted us, and it promotes love, health, you know. So I really love that because love and health are two very powerful things that a person can have. So as they promote this, not only for me, but also for our classmates, they would also do this to all the teenagers, and that's a very good thing. So if there's one thing I can tell you about the Loving Classroom program, is that they are what we expect. They are what we have been waiting for. They are people that come, help us to establish our example. For me, I didn't have, you know, that much of confidence. I was really afraid of expressing myself for quite some time. You know, I didn't know that I had the power to stand in front of people and express my opinion and express my view. But ever since they came, I'm able now to, you know, communicate with people properly. Now I know that I have something that I have inside me, all thanks to the Loving Classroom program. So thank you.
Very nice. So I have a couple questions.
Okay.
So what was some of the struggles that you were facing before you got into Loving Classroom?
I had lack of confidence. I did not believe in myself. So as soon as the teacher came, and then she told us that we are going to debate about certain topics, you know, I was so scared. I didn't even think I would stand in front of many people and, you know, express my opinion, express my perspective. But I found myself doing that, and that's a very good thing because now I'm not only, you know, I'm having fun, I'm also learning, and I also established something that I had that I didn't think I would even do, you know. So,
Why do you
yeah.
think you didn't have the confidence to be able to speak the way you wanted to growing up? Or is it something in the household or the home or just around the neighborhood?
Around the neighborhood.
Around the neighborhood.
Yeah, I
What's it
would
like
say
around
that.
the neighborhood?
Well, I you know, there's this quote by Marilyn Monroe that says we should compliment young girls. We should tell them that they are beautiful, even if they are not. but I don't even get that, But I was not complimented enough. I didn't believe in myself. I didn't have self-confidence for quite some time. So I think that's the reason I was not complimented enough. And if if you do something bad, people are going to get that, oh my goodness, she's doing something bad, and tell you that you're doing something bad. But when you do something good, they just keep quiet. So I didn't know that I could do something good and people would compliment me. So.
And what are your dreams and aspirations when you come out of school?
My dreams and aspirations. I love that question. I'd love to be a supermodel. I'd love to be a supermodel and also a businesswoman, because I think I have the power to take authority, So yeah, those are my dreams and aspirations. And also to be happy, Yes.
I think you can do it. I believe in you.
Thank you.
And what's your name again?
Ntogozomeni.
Ntogo?
Ntogozomeni.
Ntogozomeni?
Yes.
Ntogozomeni. And how old are you?
I'm 15 years old.
15 years old. And you're going to be graduating in how many years?
In 2 years' time.
2 years' time.
Yes.
And what are your thoughts about Ubuntu?
Well, my thoughts about Ubuntu, I would say that it's a very powerful thing, because I am who I am because of who we are. Without you, I wouldn't be where I am, Without anyone who's helping me to, grow, I wouldn't be where I am, So I think Ubuntu is a very nice thing, because now we are able to learn from each other. We are able to gather and, unite and do something very powerful. So without you, I wouldn't be here. Without me, you wouldn't be here.
That's absolutely correct. Such a pleasure meeting you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm telling you, this girl, she's just so sweet. And like I said, she was the one who was actually cheering the rest of them up. So she was a product of the Loving Classroom. The Loving Classroom is actually in 28 countries. But this man, Tulani, who's adopted it and put it inside of South Africa, has adopted it his own and just done remarkable things with the students. And then I realized what's happening with them is that they don't have, they're missing the outlet of creativity and expression, And, that was one of the reasons I was like, the meditating, the music, the frequency. And I asked him, what do we have to do to get you some keyboards? Right, Omashar? It's like, if we can just drop a keyboard in each one of these classrooms, put them in a room and just let them have at it. Because that's what it did for me, And I was explaining to them, I was like, creativity, the outlet is someplace that you can sit there and release, be able to go within, it relieves you from all the depression. It does all these different things. They've taken the art and the music and the creativity out of the classrooms in Africa, just like they've done it out of America, just like they've done it all across the planet. And something, art, music, expression, creativity is just as important as food is. It's just really incredible. So I want to show you this part here. This is what they call,
And just a reminder, we're well past the halfway point of the show, and you're gonna do something musical, because we always like to, get everybody moving and grooving. Is there something musical you could provide?
Yes, we could put on the Ubuntu Now, the Ubuntu Now.
Yeah. Why don't I play? I've got that queued up, and I can play it for everybody. So
Yeah,
anything
and
you
then
want to say?
later I could give you the 432 hertz thing that I've been playing for them as a meditative thing, so that way you guys can kind of experience it as well and see what you guys get out of it.
Okay, and do you want to introduce this at all? Is there anything you want to say before we play?
Yes. All right. So this is the Ubuntu Now song that Pato and I did. We're actually doing another version, so we have a dancehall version of this song, but we just have clips from the documentary, and I will drop the whole entire tour that we're actually doing for the screening of this film. So you'll see screenings, bits and pieces of the documentary, and then the song that Pato and I did called The Spirit of Ubuntu.
Great. And after this, I'll actually show people the website with all of the upcoming screenings.
Thank you.
In Africa, there is something known as Ubuntu. I am because we are. We come together today to renew the ties that make us one. Beyond tribe, beyond community, beyond nation, even beyond the continent.
wakati wa moyo wa ubuntu kugusa watu wote wa dunia, kwa sababu tu watoto wa Mungu mmoja, jamii moja. Amina.
When you realize your family is all of humanity, that's Ubuntu. Ubuntu. When you want more peace and unity in your community, that's Ubuntu. Ubuntu. When the love and respect I have for you is the same you have for me, that's Ubuntu. So tell all the people near and far, I am because we are, and that's Ubuntu. Ubuntu. When me tell them, hey, the spirit of Ubuntu. It's just a way of life, you know. Hey, the spirit of Ubuntu. Yeah, man. Ubuntu to the world. You see, this life is like a school. We gotta learn to live the golden rule, treating our brothers and our sisters how we want to be treated too. Ooh, when I say namaste, the God in me sees the God in you. Jesus said we are all your children and told us to go and spread the good news right now. Ubuntu is incredible, exceptional and ethical, mystical and spiritual, theoretical and practical. In times like this so critical, we need a higher principle to make compassion mutual, make respect reciprocal. When things become intentional and war is unacceptable, our blessings will be plentiful, life will be so wonderful. All for one and one for all people. Can you hear the call? It's time to tell the world about Ubuntu. When you realize your family, it's all of humanity, that's Ubuntu. Ubuntu. When you want more peace and unity, hey, in your community, that's Ubuntu. Ubuntu. When the love and respect I have for you is the same you have for me, that's Ubuntu. So tell all the people near and far, I am because we are, and that's Ubuntu. Ubuntu. We sing again. Hey, the spirit of Ubuntu. Yeah, man. Hey, the spirit of Ubuntu. Go on.
Naam, ni wakati wa moyo wa Ubuntu, kuwaguza watu wote wa dunia, kwa sababu sote tu watoto wa Mungu mmoja, jamii moja. Amen.
Wow. Wow. I love it.
Beautiful.
Congratulations. Let me bring Kamara back up
That,
here too.
that is so much fun. I'm telling you, when you see this tour, you want me to flip the screen for the tour?
Yeah, actually, I've got it right here. I just put it in the chat box. So for everybody watching on our
Okay,
regular,
there we go.
oh, you got it. Okay.
There we go. Yeah, can you see it?
Yeah.
All right, so we're flying next week. All right, so Monday we're flying. We're going to be in Birmingham. We're going to do a screening in Birmingham. We're going to London. We're doing a screening in Amsterdam. And then not Netherlands. We're going to plan for the Netherlands because the Netherlands, they're like gung-ho about Ubuntu. I mean, they're like nuts about Ubuntu. So we're going to plan for coming back in November for the Netherlands because I think they want to do an Ubuntu week. And also in the Netherlands on the 6th, when I get there, Divine Mother's Love. So Divine Mother's Love that I've been working with Sister Ejna from Palenque, from the 8th Fire in Hidalgo. We're actually going to meet with indigenous women in Amsterdam during that day before we actually do anything else. So we're going to do a water and a cacao ceremony. Then we have one gig with Pato back in Florida. Then after that, we fly to Australia where we're going to do the screening in the hot springs. This is amazing that they're actually going to do the screening in the hot springs. It's like movie night, you know. So I'm going to sit in the hot springs and do my healing and watch the hot spring, watch the gathering. And then we're going to do another screening in Sydney. And then we were at the African Film Festival in Sydney, Australia. They actually selected the film, even though we didn't even enter it. They said we saw, and we were just like so impressed with it, and we want to like continue this conversation, you know, with the African diaspora here in Australia. So we would be honored if we could have you guys at this festival. Then we do your Rancher conference where we're actually doing a screening there. Then we move on to Seattle. Seattle, where we're doing a screening at the SIF Center. Then we go to Port Angeles. This is amazing because the Port Angeles, the events hall in Port Angeles, if anybody's been up there, you know how this is such a small town, but it's really, really beautiful. They just built this huge events hall that holds 500 people in this theater. And they're giving us this theater because they said last time when we played up there, we had the largest audience on the pier. You know, Pato was giving a free concert during the pandemic and let everybody come out. And that was the hugest, largest gathering that they've ever had with entertainment. So they want to come and see this film. Then we're going to Bainbridge Island where we're doing a screening. Canada, Vancouver, Maureen, are you going to be there? I hope so. You
I
know,
texted her. She's gonna be there.
all right, to my Canadians, hello Canadians, Canada, China, we're coming to China. You know, we're gonna be up in Toronto. Charlotte and Jennifer are gonna be up there. They already got their hotels all booked, so we're gonna be in Toronto, and then after Toronto, fly to New York. We're doing a screening in New York where like two of the organizations, which is Ubuntu Pathways and the Village Health Works, a lot of their people are gonna be there too. Then Pato's officiating a wedding. We do that as well. And then we go to Kenya for our permacultural tour. Ever since we kicked off from the documentary, we've met so many more organizations that need empowerment and stuff. And these are the ones that we're doing our site tour. So this is crazy because you see what's happening in Kenya. Things are unstable, but we're going to Igati. I love this guy because last time I was in Kenya, this one guy, he's just amazing, like what he's doing to help the community. Beehive, dragon fruit growing, the urban farming, the sustainability, Alliance for Sustainable Livelihood, the water resource. Where's going back to Katui County where all the dancers are? Those folks are fun. We're building a school over there and a hospital. And Tiamani, this is an amazing school because this is a place where all the girls can come and they can also stay there, have clean bathrooms and toilets, and get a proper education. You know, I was like, this is amazing. Agape school, the box girls, it's like that's gonna be a whole nother thing. Then we come back to California. We got a show at the Belly Up in California, and then we're hosting our own Ubuntu Day here in Lake Elsinore. You know, so we could teach people about the environment, about sustainability, about health and wellness, and about how you can start up Ubuntu circles in your own area. Then we have another concert in Laguna Beach. Then after that, off to Japan, you know, to the land of the rising sun. Unity Earth is doing their next convergence over in Tokyo. Mount Fuji and the Unite Peace concert in Hiroshima, Japan. After we leave from the whole Unity Earth convergence, then we're doing a Ubuntu screening in Asia. Tokyo, South Korea, Philippines, and Taiwan. It's the same places that we went and did our Urantia outreach before. Then we get back in time for Pato's birthday. Maybe we'll do something again. And then we're off to Hawaii for another wedding that we're officiating. And then Ubuntu film screenings in the Netherlands. We might probably tie in France and Germany. And then, here we go, Kamara, Golden Gate Park, San Francisco, November 10th. Not only do we do a free show there, this is something I picked up from when we were doing Clubhouse, but also it's Native Indigenous Month. You know, so I think this is going to be the biggest BIPOC event. Black, Indigenous, people of color at the Golden Gate Park. So with Divine Mother's Love, we're inviting all the Indigenous communities to come again. We're going to do a water ceremony. We're going to do the Four Corners, the 4 directions. We're going to have the performers, from our indigenous brothers and sisters. And then Pato's doing a concert. I'm doing a concert. And then whoever wants to come and jam, they can come too. And then after that, Ubuntu film screenings back through the South again. Dallas, Texas, Houston, San Antonio. Maybe we end up, back in Alabama or in some of those other areas. But yeah, that's where we're going for the year.
And then the
And
African
then, oh
tour.
yes, and then for my 56th birthday, which you guys are all invited to come with me back to South Africa, because this is a trip that we're planning. What's it called, Kamara?
Initiations back to the motherland and a journey into Ubuntu.
Yes, this is what I would like to do. This is what I'm going to do. I'm putting it out there in the universe because I realize if we start putting it into the universe and we start meditating and we start manifesting, we're going to make it happen. So the goal is to get back over to South Africa to celebrate my 56th year around the sun. Another year of staying alive. It's like this year, it's like 55 is staying alive, 55 is staying alive. I see you, Lavina, because she's trying to stay alive too. It's like we've got all of people who they told us we're going to die. No,
You'll be
we are living.
beyond alive. You'll be living.
We're beyond alive. We are living. Don't ever let nobody tell you you're going to die, or don't ever let anybody say that. We can do all sorts of things, and we're doing it. So anyway, Lavinia, you coming too, right? Bring her up on the screen. We are going to Africa, and we're going to do a concert. I did a jam session, open mic night. We're going to do a concert, and then we're going to check out Cape Town. We're going to go back into Johannesburg. We're going to drop some musical instruments for these kids. If we can't bring the keyboards, then we'll bring the little hand pans or something like that. And then after that, then we go right and back into Mpumalanga so that way we can meditate and manifest some more. And then we stay out there and we just hike out there into the stone.
Oh, please join us. Anyone, if you can, come join us. It's a spectacular place.
Yes.
You will not regret it.
And so let's all take a moment to digest this. That's a lot. Quick question. On November 10th, Golden Gate Park. Do you know what time that's going to be? Offhand?
So, you're right. So we're dedicating to the Native Indigenous community from 12 to 4. And then Pato will go from 4:20, and Pato and I will go from 4:20 to 7:30. Now, when I was in San Francisco last time, we did the fire drum ceremony. So after the 8th fire and Eshna and I got together, I said, all right, girl, I'm coming up to San Francisco. You beat that drum, bring the 8th fire ashes. I'm bringing my water from Maui because I did a water ceremony. I was so excited to do my first ceremony. I was like, we're going to bring it all together. And we were on the beach. And everybody was like, what are you guys doing? This is amazing. And it was like, we're just doing a ceremony and we're just giving thanks and praise and everything else. And the guy that I asked to come and provide the speakers, he said he was a teacher and I felt so bad. I said, oh, I'm sorry I made you take off work. He said, you don't understand. The women, they were so glad that he took off work. They're like, you go and help those women. You go and bring your speaker. You go out there and you help those women and we'll cover for you. We got you. So he donated his time and his speakers and we were all out on the beach, and Chief Philip Scott played the flute. Katana, she sang. And then, we just had like the best time. I'm like, wait a minute. We should do this more often. I think people need to hear, from our brothers and sisters from all communities because that's what they did in the 8th fire. Chief Phil Lane was like, we're not leaving that teepee until every voice that wants to be heard is heard. And it was hot up in that teepee. And someone who's having hot flashes, it's like, okay, we in this teepee that we're going to hear every single voice and all those voices. And it was like what you gain from that, the knowledge and the understanding and the feeling, that you gain from learning from other people and they're sharing their experiences with you. That's how you live.
Absolutely. So I want our people to put a couple things into their calendar, just knowing where most of our people are. First off, there's a wonderful website. I've put it into the chat box. I'll put it in again. And this is where you can get more specific information about all the different film screenings. So for example, we have several people watching that are in the Pacific Northwest, Eleanor Joy, Maureen. So this is where they go, they click, they find out what's happening on August 1st when you're going to be in Vancouver. So this is the website. I'll put it back in the chat box one more time. I also want to suggest, since your Ubuntu Day is on August 31st, that's a Saturday. Let's do the Awakening World show that night from Lake Elsinore and make that Awakening World show all about Ubuntu. All right, so let's do that. And then November 10th, since so many of us are San Francisco Bay Area people, we can bring Piper down from Sacramento. Let's all plan on going to Golden Gate Park on Sunday, November 10th. Let's make that a global peace tribe gathering to be with Pato and Antoinette. And Kamara, where do you live? Where's your home?
Home is Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. But that doesn't stop me from quantumly connecting or even physically connecting over there.
Yeah, dude, if you can get here for August, that would be awesome. Bring
Yeah.
the golden tea. You know?
Yeah. Oh, right. The golden rose tea at the Golden Gate. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, but also August 31st. Yes. You know.
Now, I've also just brought your friend Charlotte on because Charlotte experienced what we all wish we could experience. Private time with you in Adentia. And so I thought that since Charlotte got to have that experience that we all would love to have, you could share a little bit. What's it like visiting Antoinette and Pato in their home?
Hello, greetings everyone. Hi, long time no see, friend.
Tell them the truth, Charlotte. Tell them the truth. You were just here 2 days ago.
Yeah, we just flew back, Jennifer and I, last night. We just arrived home last night, so we're still dreaming of California. We had intended to go to the mass meditation event, which was canceled due to the wildfires, and we weren't able to refund our travel. So we decided that the universe had another plan for us, and we went anyway. And we were lots of pivoting, and we just decided that we were going to go to California anyway because the universe had a plan and we were just trusting that plan. And so we ended up booking another hotel and getting out of the fire zone. So we ended up staying in West LA where we had stayed during our first visit, during our retreat, the Global Peace Tribe retreat. So it was really close to where our retreat was. So one of the first things we did when we got our rental car and got our bearings was drive by the house where we had our retreat and drive by some of the haunts and the places that we found. And so very much the entire time we were in California, our whole tribe was very much with us. And there were so many reminders throughout our time. And so Scott had kindly offered to connect and have a visit with us while we were there. But it was a little bit too much driving. It was about 13 hours total driving. Bonnie and Roger had reached out and invited us up to their home. And again, it was about 14 hours of driving. So it was a little bit too much. But we were able to connect with Antoinette. So it worked out that we were able to actually go on our last full day there and pick her up at the airport, up at the Ontario airport. And we live in Ontario, so that's kind of cool. That's our province. And it really was nice because we were kind of the LaFranc Sister Greeting Committee, and we picked her up. And she had these 2 suitcases that weighed like 1 billion pounds because they were literally full of rocks. All of these beautiful crystals that she had picked up. Because she wants through the Adentia to be able to make bracelets. And so we had lunch and we had a bit of a whirlwind with Antoinette. We got lunch and we got some matcha tea. And then we went to their home and just had a nice visit. And we started making bracelets together and sort of looking at all the beautiful crystals and all the things that she had brought home. We also were the first ones that got to see the award she brought home from Texas, the 16th award that the film has received to date. And, Pato was working away and his grandson had arrived the day before from the UK. And we just got to spend some time and be at home and make our bracelets, and we kind of powered up our bracelets. So we have these beautiful, beautiful bracelets. Jennifer has one too.
Put it up on the screen, girl. Put it up on the screen.
It's primarily lapis lazuli and clear crystal quartz. And then I have a greenstone in the middle. And the lapis lazuli and the crystal quartz is really about your spiritual intuition, feminine power, clarity, that connection to the higher wisdom and the higher guidance, connection to our feminine power. And we really drew on Antoinette because we want her confidence and her fire to power us up so we can be of service, at the next level. And so we made these beautiful bracelets, and then I put the green stone in the center, really, which represents that heart chakra and that healing love of the heart. And that for me is that reminder to me, as I've been taught by my Indigenous teachers, that everything that before we speak, we always try to filter our words through the heart. So I put that heart chakra, that healing heart love, at the center of my bracelets. So we took a picture of our sister bracelets and we powered them up. And then we had our weekly Adentia Wellness call. We've been meeting weekly around building the vision for the Adentia Wellness. And after we met Pato and Antoinette in LA, and they did the beautiful Sunday service for us, and we connected with Antoinette after and gave her some love and some healing. And she said, I don't know what you just did, but it was amazing. And really what I said is, we loved you before we knew you. You had shared so bravely about your journey, and we were sending you love and vibrations through the Peace Tribe before we even met you. So meeting you was such a gift, and being able to be of service and give you that love and that healing that you felt was just really the amplification of that love. And then she drew us into Adentia, and she did what she does, and what she's so good at is bringing people in and building that bigger table of inclusion. And we're so thankful to how she role models that, to build these tables where everybody is welcome and everybody can bring their gifts. And so instead of doing our Adentia meeting in our homes at 9:00 on a Monday night, we did it all together in Antoinette's home at 6:00, and met some beautiful people that she had met in Palenque that were pulling into our circle. And it was just a beautiful night. And then we went to Solana, which is the other piece of land that we're holding a vision for, where they hope to build their eco-friendly home. And so we went down and got to see this piece of land at Solana and held that vision for the manifestation of their beautiful home there. And then we had some visits. We had some good laughs. Pato shared how he has been working so hard to book all the details of all of those tools, the tour. They have booked every detail themselves, every flight, every hotel, every cinema, every detail of every aspect of that tour. They have done all that work themselves. They don't have a tour manager. They don't have any of that. So Pato had really just finished booking all of those details. And so took us up and showed us the whole itinerary, and it's massive. And he felt such a relief having booked it all. And I'm like, oh, I feel like the hard work is done. I'm like, what are you talking about? Now we have to go do all that. But it was just such an honor to be welcomed into their home and treated like family. And do you want something to drink? And do you want to have a snack? And we're all sitting around the table making bracelets and sharing love and laughter. And Pato's grandson was lovely, really friendly, and like us, loving California and the beautiful sunshine. So yeah, it was a really beautiful, hi Baba, hi sister. It was a really beautiful, loving experience. And, we were planning to go to the mass meditation event because we needed that up level. We were ready for that next up level. And we always have them when we meet with our tribe. And the gift of this particular trip was time. It was free time. It was time to be still. Instead of cramming all these events in, we got time to be still, to be at nature. We swam in the Pacific Ocean for the first time. And then we got a dose of our tribe, and we got our up level on the last day with Antoinette and with Pato. And so we're just so thankful, and so thankful that she's pulled us into her circle, and so thankful for all the love that she brings. And you make me want to be a better human. You make me want to be of service. And you make me want to just jump in the game and bring my gifts to the party, as Connie would say. So, and Brother Kuma, the same. Love you, brother.
It's because of you guys. It's because of you guys. It's because of the Global Peace Tribe. I mean, it started with everybody within the Peace Tribe. For reals. I've never gotten
Yeah.
so much love and healing anywhere else in the world. I love you guys so much. I mean, I've been feeling it. Davina, I told you these are our people. These are
These
our
are our
people. These are our
people.
folks.
Is Jennifer, is there anything you want to add to your experience?
Well, I'd like to say a big thank you to you for bringing us all together. You've created this platform for everyone. And of course, you know, the people that we've met on the retreats, I'm really gunning for another retreat. If you got something
Bonnie
planned,
and
really
Roger
want
are
something
too.
there.
Y'all are retreating with me to South Africa. All of y'all.
I do
We
want
will
to.
do another retreat, but let's definitely plan on Ubuntu down in Lake Elsinore that day, November 10th in San Francisco. And then maybe we'll build something around those events. That might work out because I want to do a retreat in the Bay Area because I've got a couple of locations owned by friends of mine that are large where we could have a home like we've done before. So maybe if the weather is good enough, maybe we can do something around one of those events. That could work. That could work.
Yay.
Well, thank you, Charlotte and
And
Jennifer,
thank you.
for coming on and just, I
Thank
love
you.
how it's growing, and I just thought it'd be really fun for you to share your experience.
Yeah. Thank you for letting us share. And just to say about Ubuntu, I learned that concept from my dear friend who's Somali Kenyan in 2008. He now has a counseling service in Windsor called Ubuntu Counseling Services. And one of the things he has found is when he explains the principle of Ubuntu to his clients who are primarily mental health and struggling, they just hearing the spirit of Ubuntu, the philosophy of Ubuntu, they already feel better. They already come out feeling better just hearing that. And really Ubuntu is that illusion of separation dissolving, that I am because you are. I am well if you are well. And that really roots into social justice, all of these things, that no one is fully and truly free until we're all free. And I feel this family, our soul family, really embodies that so beautifully. And, you know, every pebble in that pond of healing, it really is about all of us. So I'm just so thankful to you, Scott, and to Antoinette, and to all of our beautiful family. Ubuntu, we are in this together. We are one family.
Scott, can you bring Lavina up really quick? Because I really want to introduce her to this family since she hasn't met this family yet. Yes. So one of the things I need to explain to you guys, is that when I brought Chelsea, remember I told you I brought Chelsea to the convergence last year, because I was trying to, because she was someone who had was diagnosed with cancer. We were both diagnosed at the same time, but she went on a journey where she had gone through conventional treatments and the all this stuff. This is the reason why I started Adentia Wellness. I felt like I had to kind of start this now. Kamara, you can stay up here too, but because they're all in it. Everybody's been helping us, but Lavina, I want you to know who these people are, like I said, because these were the people who have helped me. And we've also tried to bring this same love and everything, because what happened was Chelsea, who was there at the convergence, and I was telling her, I said, I brought these Mandelas, green one and a purple one. And I gave Chelsea the purple one and I gave Lavina the green one because we were all over in the hot springs and Desert Springs. And Lavina said, I want to live. And I was like, what do you mean you want to live? What are you talking about? She goes, I want to live. And please, Lavina, tell us what happened. So.
Okay, well, like Antoinette was trying to tell you, I had a lot of health issues, brain cancer, and lost my memory. Then doctors said that I would never remember the things that I lost. And I had a long journey getting back to myself. I had to learn how to walk and talk and just get my motor skills working again. And things changed for me. My memory started to come back. Antoinette has been such a good sister to me. Got me in touch with a lot of things that was natural because I did the traditional medicine, and it didn't work well for me at all. It was draining me. My spirit was just the depression had taken over so bad. I'm almost about to cry now, but it's not because I'm sad. It's just because I'm happy, because I just didn't think that I would even be here right now.
Mm-hmm.
Meeting Chelsea and seeing her, you know, fighting, and trying to do all the things to save her life, and being up together all those at the springs. And I'm sitting in this beautiful environment, warm springs water, and it just came over me that I'm not going to die. And I just said it out loud. I want to live. And so just like she said, what? You want to live? Yes, I do. And I am still living. I have days that are good and bad, just like all. But for the most part, I can't stop smiling. I wake up early in the morning and I get out there and get the sun on my skin and put my headphones in. I take my shoes off and walk in the grass, in the dirt, in the sand, whatever, to get grounded. All these things are keeping me centered. All this love around me that I'm getting in support from Pato and Antoinette and so many others. It would take all day to name them all, but Kamari, all of these people, that I've met that keeps me going. And I'm here, and it's a lot that happened, but it didn't happen. I'm
You
not
look fantastic.
I'm telling you, you guys don't understand. Let's back up a bit because you guys don't
Yeah.
understand. So Kamara, you guys don't know this, but Kamara came down to help me for MLK Day. So when Charlotte and Jennifer sitting there saying it's like me and Pato do everything, we do. It's like we don't have a staff. We don't have, we don't have all this, a company or group or whatever. It's like we are Adventure Inc. We're the ones doing everything until I pulled in Kamara. And when I pulled in Kamara, I just literally just dumped everything on him. I'm like, dude, you're gonna have to just do this, and that, and everything, and
I'm like,
help
okay.
us because
Okay.
he's been such a willing participant, in all of this journey with us. So he came down for MLK Day. And he helped us do MLK Day. And then also we were doing the Ubuntu screening in Los Angeles. Lavina could not make it. She was lying up in her bed, dying. It was like, and it was the craziest thing because we were sitting there. It's like she couldn't even get out of her bed. So we would send some patches and some medicine and whatever over to her. And then this is kind of going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But a few weeks ago, she had another operation because one thing leads to another, and they took her ovaries, and then on top of that, she was laid up in the bed again. So her husband is telling me she's not eating. She's not eating. She's just laying there, and she's just on her way out. And I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? And so I sent her some patches, whatever, and I'm taking off again. And then when we invite her and Perky to come with us to Sacramento, where I did the show last week, guess who ends up driving us back from Sacramento? Lavina. The
I saw
big
that.
RV with the trailer.
Yep.
She's on the stage dancing. I was like, girl, she's dancing. She's like, and then she's driving the big RV. And I'm like, wait a minute. Last week they said you wasn't eating and you were lying up there dying again. Or I was like,
Yeah.
but there she is.
Subscribe to it or not. And she said, I'm going to live.
That's right.
It's a decision.
That's right. I don't accept.
Way to go.
I'm so proud of you. I'm just so proud of you. So anyway, so she's, like I said, we're building this vision. We're bringing all these different healers from around, together. And the thing that was like depressing her and depressing me, like all three of us and Kamar too, was because Chelsea didn't make it. We were going to the hot springs and I was waiting for her. I'm like, where the hell is Chelsea? Where the hell is Chelsea? Where's Chelsea? And they found Chelsea in her car, deceased. That literally broke us. When I said it broke us, it broke me, it broke Lavina. We were, and all the other people who started to meet her and got to know her, because it was like she just had this desire to live. And I was sitting there and I'm like, do I continue doing this? Because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not a health coach. I don't know anything about health and wellness. I don't even know anything about my own body, but I just have a belief, and I just have a knowing that it can, and I was like, don't give up, don't give up, don't give up. And because of the people that came around us and stuff like that, and I keep saying, we're stronger together. I hold on to Chelsea's pillow. We're stronger together. The thing that she got me it looks like this too. I bring it everywhere. I charge it to crystals. It's like, Chelsea, we got you. We're doing this for you. We're doing this for Lavina, and we're doing this for everybody else, and we're doing this for myself too. Because if I can do that entire tour, and I did the tour last year and the year before without surgery, without chemo, without radiation, without not raising enough funds to sit there and go to the bougie cancer clinics, then yes, everything is possible.
Absolutely.
Anything is possible.
I want us to do a little bit of housekeeping here. And since Kumara has been such a wonderful support to Antoinette and to Lavana, I want to let people know a little bit more about him. And you can find him on his website. I'll put it in the chat box. But for all of you who are watching on Facebook, and the majority of people watching the show are watching on Facebook and on YouTube through, and also a lot of people watch the replay. So his website is his name, Kumara, Kumara -heart, HEART.org. And that's where you can learn all about. Tell us briefly about heart imagery. And of course, just to remind everybody that you can book a session with him by going there. And my gosh, imagine getting support with this guy. You can email him. I'll put this also into the chat box. But Kumara, tell us a little bit about this unique form of therapy that you do that's having such great results with Antoinette and Lavinia and God knows who else.
Oh, thank you so much. Basically, I'm passing on knowledge that I felt in honor to be bequeathed the knowledge and the training from Dranvallo Melchizedek. He is like my greatest guide, as well as Daniel Mattel, and he founded the School of the Heart. That stemmed from the work of Dranvallo's original series, The Ancient Secrets of the Flower of Life, volumes 1 and 2. When I became close friends to them, they kind of took me under their wing and said, "You have a natural ability." I'm like, "What's that?" They said, "Well, it shows in your hands." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" They said, "Well, you saw it. We saw the lines on your hands." I've got the simian lines that go right across both hands. Apparently, it's rare on both.
Wow.
And they said, "You speak in imagery." And I'm like, "Well, what's that?" So they actually reversed engineer of what I already do, and then give me the language so that I could actually help people get back to their ancient self, which is a highly evolved being. It's not coming from me. I'm just reminding people that the heart is contained in them. The unconditional love is contained in them. The DNA, the 64 codons that are within each DNA, they're mostly turned off because of toxins. So toxins can come in through water, through food, through even emotions. And that's why the emotional, the psychosomatic is very important. The body, the mind, the spirit, the soul. So when we tie those all together through imagery, through it's a specific journey from the pineal gland down the spine into the physical heart. I meld in the IRT because IRT is very much that too. It speaks the same language. It's very effective. People create from there. So the simian and the Adamic race, the first, love you, Maureen, the first humans that walked the earth, they created things out of nothing, but through this technique, and it's heart imagery. And I know we're almost out of time here, but even the solar impulse project that it was a solar plane that took flight 4 days and 4 nights, and this man did not sleep the entire 4 days and 4 nights using heart imagery and heart-centered breathing, because the School of the Heart is also tied in with HeartMath. So using all these techniques together, yeah, we have the patches, we have meditation, we have frequency, we have IRT, we have heart imagery, we have, things like the rose tea that I've developed for heart imagery and IRT. There's rose in it, there's pu'er, there's 24 karat gold. Thank you, Maureen. And that those leaves I can actually ship anywhere. And basically, it activates the monatomic gold that's already in our blood. I've also studied the heart, not only heart imagery, but crystallography and put it into practice. And the amazing things that can come out just from our thought. We put thought towards someone or ourselves, or mostly water, and then do an experiment and then freeze that water in the freezer, flash freeze it. You see these beautiful crystallography. So, anyways, that's a little bit about me. Thank you, Scott, for the floor for a bit. That's a nice
Absolutely. And I
surprise.
brought Maureen up because she's one of our favorite presenters,
Yeah.
participants. And so when you mentioned RRT and the similarity, I thought it would be appropriate to bring Maureen up. And
Yes, she
also
certified me too last
she
year.
had an extraordinary healing experience recently. So, you know, I'm going to also bring up Eleanor Joy and Piper, because there really has been recently, and I'll bring Antoinette back, just amazing miracle stories. You know, Eleanor Joy was in the hospital. We almost lost her recently. Piper was still supporting and blessing, and she had an amazing, very positive report take place this week. And Antoinette, I remember when you first got your diagnosis of the big C. So isn't it beautiful to see Maureen, Eleanor Joy, Piper, Antoinette, all with us, all radiant, all dynamic, despite, you know, the moments that they were facing dire consequences. And I do believe prayer makes a difference. And the way that we all channel and focus our attention, whether it's on Piper, Antoinette, Eleanor Joy, and having support of people like Kumara, thank you. And thank you, Global Peace Tribe, because we that's what we do. We pray together. We
It's
focus.
all about love. LOVE.
All about love. And you know, an important form of love, Maureen, is green love. And I would like to just encourage us to give some green love to our beloved Antoinette, who is kind of who we're focusing on tonight, obviously. And this is her PayPal for Stand Up for Justice. I've put it into the chat box so people can PayPal her that way. And for anybody watching, all of our friends watching on Facebook and YouTube, or watching the recording, just go to paypal.com/PayPal me/Stand Up for Justice. PayPal.com/PayPal me/Stand Up for Justice. Or you can reach out to me and I'll be happy to put that link and give it to you. I'll also post that link along with the recording and the replay of the show so people can find it that way. So thank you, Kumara. Thank you, Antoinette. We're going to close with an Omashar song in a moment. However, I want to share one more really important thing, which is this Sunday, there's going to be something really cool happening. We all know Tangela, and she puts on these enlightenment expos, and she's doing one this Sunday, June 30th in San Rafael. And a lot of our friends are there, and Piper Dellums is planning to come down and join us because John Gray is going to be the featured presenter. We had John on the show just last Saturday night, and he was amazing. And then my good friend Eden Amadora and I are going to do the opening ceremony at 10 a.m. Now, listen, this is great. You can come and join us live in San Rafael. Get there in time for Eden and I to do our opening ceremony. We're going to be talking about tips, tools, and practices for enlightening our lives. However, of course, some of you aren't going to be able to join us live. But, you know, we've talked a lot about how we loved doing the Sacred Sunday show. So we're going to do a special version of the Sacred Sunday show this Sunday, starting at 9:30 in the morning. Come and join us, and we will have a special for just the Global Peace Tribe, just for all of you who are watching, all of our subscribers, a special Sacred Sunday show this Sunday morning. It'll start at 9:30 in the morning. Omashar is going to bless us with a couple of songs. Tangela is going to lead a meditation. Then Eden and I will do our 10 a.m. program. We'll do it live from San Rafael, but of course, you'll all be watching on the live stream. And then you might remember Darren Starwin. He's been on the show a couple of times. He works with Christy Michaels. He's who's going to come on right after us in San Rafael, and he's doing a really cool program also on 5 tips for mastery. So we'll just continue to record that. So we will have a Sacred Sunday show that's going to go on for about 2.5 hours, 9:30 in the morning till 12 noon Pacific time. And this is just for subscribers of the Global Peace Tribe. So, and that is all of our subscribers for the current season. For anybody watching on Facebook, if you're not a subscriber, come join us. It's really easy. Just go to globalpeacetribe.com and register. globalpeacetribe.com and register. And I'm excited to be doing a Sacred Sunday show again with Omashar and Tangela and beloved Eden. It's going to be really, really, really fun. And hopefully we'll see some of you live in person, and definitely look forward to hopefully seeing all of you online. So that's our announcements for now. I am going to turn it over to our Alpha and Omega man, because all things begin and end on the Global Peace Tribe with the one and only Omashar.
And that would be me. And what a profound show. I had no idea we'd go so deep. Holy smoke. I think I'm changed. You can feel by my energy. I'm just like transported to the realms of possibility and the journey through Africa. Holy smoke, in all of its many colors. Anyway, I'll play a song and it's called Feel the Love, because what else do we do? Got to change a couple of buttons here.
And let's all get ready to move and groove to the music. Charlotte's already moving and grooving.
Good. All right. A 1, a 2. Whatever comes after 2. heart. I won't let it leave me. I won't let us part. 'Cause I've been waiting a long time for you to enter my life. And now I'm with you forever. I'm with you forever. And singing, feel the love. Feel the love come tumbling down. Feel the love. And let it turn you around. Turn you around. We're singing, feel the love. Feel the love come tumbling down. Feel the love. And let it turn you around. Turn you around. We're singing, feel the love. Feel the love come tumbling down. Feel the love. And let it turn you around. Turn you around. We're singing, feel the love. Feel the love come tumbling down. Feel the love. And let it turn you around. Turn you around. And let it turn you around. Turn you around. And let it turn you around. Turn you around. And we can be happy.
Woo! I love how more and more people are dancing and moving on every show. It's fantastic.
I think this show liberates us all. So there we are.
Absolutely. Thank you, Antoinette, for being such a great inspiration.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for being with us. I hope to see all of you. Of course, Saturday night, we've got a great show. It's going to be all about the Earthstock Festival. Maureen is going to be part of Saturday night's show. So we're going to hear from her, Connie and Andrew, and the Wild Bug, Cherry, and other friends who are going to be part of Earthstock. So join us on Saturday night. And of course, hopefully on Sunday morning for the Sacred Sunday show. Love each and every one of you. See you soon. Good night and God bless.